Hey, on this video, I'm going to tell you the real reason why most real estate investors and wholesalers and flippers fail and eventually quit. There is a reason why. I've been a real estate investor for 17 years now. I've accumulated a lot of properties, bought a lot of properties, been doing real estate for a long time. And trust me, I've made a lot of mistakes. Let me talk to you about where most people start in real estate, and then you'll understand why most people fail. Most people start with reading a book, possibly by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like I did. And it talks about buying assets. And it makes a lot of sense because it is true. You should buy assets, right? The problem is you get real excited about buying assets and then you turn around and you start buying a bunch of assets and it's slow money. It doesn't solve all your financial problems like you thought it would. In addition to that, you figure out pretty quickly that after you fix a roof, an AC, tenant trashes a unit, that your property is not cash flowing, right? And then you end up having to sell it because it becomes a pain in the ass, right? And then on top of that, you overpaid for it and you end up breaking even at best and most likely losing money. Let me tell you why. The reason is we don't start off at the proper gradient scale of real estate investing, just like you would in the education system when you go to elementary school, junior high, high school, then college, right? The information stacks on one another. And in elementary school, we learn the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s. It's no different in real estate. You got to understand the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s of real estate. And the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s of real estate, elementary school, is learning how to source your own deals off market direct to seller, which is what? Wholesaling, which essentially is direct to seller marketing. If you start with wholesaling or direct to seller marketing, which is the same thing, you know how to buy right. You know how to buy deals. What's the old adage? You make money when you what? When you buy. If you start with that particular strategy, you'll understand the concepts of how to buy deeply discounted. And you'll hedge against yourself getting in trouble later down the road if you need to sell it, right? There's an old saying that, when properties don't cash flow no more, equity saves you. And that's true because you can sell and get out of it at a profit or at least not lose money. So if you start with that fundamentally stacks on everything else. If you buy right, that is the key fundamental principle. That's elementary school. And that's where you guys should start. Because I did it like everybody else. I did it backwards. I went to buy and hold first. Then I got into wholesaling later and I understood how to buy right. So that's elementary school. Once you've mastered direct to seller marketing and maybe you're wholesaling some of these properties and you're ready to start flipping properties, junior high, the next graduated step to being a professional real estate investor is learning the art of raising private money. That's junior high. Once you've learned how to raise private money, then you can start flipping. That's going to be high school, right? What's another big problem with people that get into real estate? They start flipping properties and they don't know how to raise private money, junior high, and they don't know how to buy right, elementary school. These all stack on one another and build. No different than when you go to school, when you learn the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s, right? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions, it all stacks. Because most flippers end up quitting. Why? They run out of money because they don't know how to raise private money because they're using their own money, which is a big no-no. And 2, they didn't buy right. They didn't buy at wholesale prices. They buy it on marginal gains where they barely make any money. And when thing goes wrong, destroys all their profits and they end up quitting. Now, we've got wholesaling, which is elementary school, raising private money, which is junior high. Then we have flipping, which is high school. Now, once you have all 3 of these steps in sequential order, You've then stacked the cash. You're buying at wholesale prices. You're raising private money. You're flipping properties for big profits. Now you're stacking the cash. That's when you need to start looking at the next step, which is going to be buy and hold, right? Which is going to be college. But yet everybody tries to go to college when they get into real estate before they go to elementary school, before they go to junior high, before they go to high school. You have no business going into buy and hold in college until you understand the principles of buying right at discounted prices, raising private money, and a fundamental understanding of flipping, which shows you how the process goes of fixing properties up and real estate up. Unless you got tens of millions of dollars in cash sitting around because maybe you have a high paying job or maybe you own a business, you have no business getting into buy and hold. You got to have your fast money handled first, right? You got fast, medium, and slow money. Your fast money is going to be the wholesaling or W-2 or a business that produces a lot of cash and transacts on a daily or weekly basis where you get paid quick or a monthly basis. Your medium money is going to be what? Flipping, which transacts typically on 3 to 6, 6 to 8 month period, right? Then you got slow money, which is what? The buy and hold side, or maybe it's land development. So once you have your fast money handled and your medium money handled, then you can roll your profits from your fast and medium money into your slow money, which is what? College buy and hold. Everybody thinks buy and hold is like, the be all do all when you start off. You have no business buying real estate when you're first getting into real estate at all. That is the worst strategy because why? You blow yourself up because it's slow money. The roof goes out, AC goes out, tenant trash your unit. You ain't got no money to fix it up. But because a bunch of people on Instagram and YouTube said buy assets, you think that's the way you got to go. It's not. You need to be in the college realm after you've stacked the cash and you've went through those 3 progressions. Now you're at college and buy and hold. Then you can start accumulating assets, but you can't do that until you have your fast active income handled to handle the repairs, the CapEx that's going to occur when you own real estate, because it will occur. Now, once you've accumulated and stacked up a portfolio, a nice portfolio, and you are on your way to being a professional real estate investor, let me clear one thing up too about buy and hold. Everybody thinks it's about cash flow. It's not about cash flow, folks. Why you think all these hedge funds are buying up properties almost at full retail? Because they have so much cash, they have a cash problem, and inflation's eating up all their cash, and they'd rather dump it into an asset so they can get what? Depreciation. But let me give you the 5 most important things about buy and hold college so you understand the concept. Buy and hold, first and foremost, is the best store of value. That is the best benefit. It's the best store of value to protect your money against inflation. That way your money gets pulled with inflation and you don't lose your purchasing power. 2, second thing that's most important, depreciation, how to offset your fast and medium money. If all you do is wholesale and flip, your money's getting eaten up from taxes because you don't have any depreciation. You see how this all stacks and onto college? If you got that depreciation, you'll offset your taxes. 3, appreciation. Historically speaking, real estate over time does appreciate, but you got to know where you're at in the cycle, right? It does always go up, but it has cycles of going up and going down. You have to know where you're at. 4, principal pay down is very important. And then 5thly is cash flow. That's the least most important thing of the 5 steps, the 5 benefits of owning buy and hold, right? Just to recap. The best store value, depreciation, appreciation, principal pay down, and last but not least, cash flow. Once you've stacked all these properties and you offset in your fast and medium money, your active income, your wholesaling, flipping profits, or business W-2, whatever it is that you're in, then you can graduate to being a professor, right? Which is what? Land development. That's where I'm at now. Developing land. Nobody got rich and wealthy from wholesaling and flipping properties, folks. And buy and hold is such a slow game. It might take 10, 15, 20 years before you actually see the benefits of the wealth creation that it produces because it takes such a long time to pay down all your properties. But when you get into the professor mode, which is land development, you can exponentially accumulate wealth because you know how to buy at wholesale prices. Now you know how to buy land at discount because you're doing direct to seller marketing like I am, and buying land at 30 to 50 cents on the dollar. That's the game, folks. If you can't steal it, don't buy it. You buying the land at say 50 cents on the dollar. Then you get your commercial contractor's license, and now you're going to save on all the margins that you see or that you would have to pay from a contractor. You're not going to have to pay that because you're doing that in-house. You don't have to do that, but that's how you're going to stack the equity. You're buying at 50 cents on the dollar or less on the land. You're the GC on the deal, the commercial contractor. So you're going to save another, I don't know what their margins are, probably 10 to 30% depending on the job. You see how that exponentially compounds? Now you're making millions of dollars. Like I said before, there is nobody, I repeat, nobody that got rich and wealthy from wholesaling and flipping properties. Great income, great way to source properties, great education to get you to that gradient scale of education. But you want to end up in land development. That's where the big players go. If you look at all the super wealthy real estate investors, that's where they're at. They're in land development, and underneath that, buy and hold, right? Then once you've made it and you got, say, millions of dollars of cash, and you look into, like, what's the next step, right? The next step after land develop would be what? The best position to be in. Be the bank, a lender, right? Because then you're really making money. That's really passive income, right? Especially if you can get hooked up with a great operator like myself or other great operators out there. You sitting on maybe 10, 15, 20 million, even less. You can sit on $1 million or 2 million, and you wanted to keep moving. You can lend that money at, say, 12 to 15% to a great operator, get a first position on a property that he knows how to buy, super discounted in case you got to take it back. You got a great equity position. So you got to make sure he understands all these gradient scales, and he bought at wholesale prices, and he understands, the process of, the rehab and all that. And then you invest with him. That's the proper way to be a professional real estate investor, folks. I didn't make any of this shit up. I actually lived it because I did it all backwards. I did buy and hold. I tried to go to college first. Did it all backwards. You have no business going to buy and hold first. That is the point of this video. Learn the gradient scales of how to get into real estate. This formula helped me build a lot of wealth very fast. If you use this formula and you do it over a duration of time and you stay consistent, you can't help but to build wealth and become really successful as a real estate investor. I hope this helps. If you're interested in learning how to be a professional real estate investor and you need my help, go follow and reach out to me. Go follow me on Instagram at Real Estate Rood, or on Facebook at Chris Rood Entrepreneur, on my personal page, Chris Rood. I'm on TikTok. I'm on LinkedIn. Please give me a like. Give me a subscribe. If you like this content, give me a subscribe. Or if you don't like it, make a comment. Say, hey, you're full of shit. Maybe I am. Who knows, right? Or you can just pick up my free ebook, thesourceofthedeal.com. It helps you get started at the direct to seller marketing and sourcing your own deals. That's where it starts. If you got that foundation, if you got elementary school down packed, you will learn how to do everything else, and it builds, right? Just like if you didn't understand ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, how else would you have gotten to junior high and high school if you didn't learn how to read and write and basic arithmetic? That is direct to seller marketing. That is the wholesale process, buying at wholesale prices. Hope that helps. If you need help, inbox me on social media on the links I told you, or you can go to chrisrood.com, book a call with me on my website. I'd love to help you. Keep skilling up.